Dr. Turtleboy walks the line, truth in his hands. Fingers point at shadows, he's breaking their plans. Corrupt suits in the courthouse playing their game, but the lies they sling won't tarnish his name. They try to bury him, but he won't go down, fighting for justice in every crooked town. Dr. Turtleboy standing tall in the fight, truth's his weapon shining through the night. Bogus charges flying, but they can't stick. He's cutting through the darkness, sharp and quick. The gavel pounds, but his voice won't break. No matter how much they take and fake, they try to bury him, but he won't go down, fighting for justice in every crooked town. Dr. Turtleboy standing tall in the fight, truth's his weapon shining through the night. His ground in the face of their lies, his courage resounds. For every false word there's a light he ignites, a warrior for truth under courthouse lights. He's been bruised, but he won't lose the war, kicking down the gates of corruption's door. Dr. Turtleboy still chasing the sun. The fight's far from over, but he's never done.
Hey, yo, folks! Yeah, welcome to today. Welcome to today. It's always good when you can welcome a new day because it means you survived. That song you just heard, I made through suno.com. It is published on my YouTube under CC something 4.0, whatever. So if you want to rearrange it, add photos, make it your own. It's yours. You're welcome. Whew, that's a... So, yeah. Where was I? Well, today we are going to check in something that happened a few weeks ago. Because, Aidan published it on his YouTube yesterday. It is the trial from a month ago. The alleged violation of his restraining order trial. Now, there might be some spoilers, but I haven't seen it. I don't know, maybe you guys have seen it. I don't know. But this time you will see it in 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. One, today, tomorrow, Thursday, I have other things, and then the finale on Friday during my slightly bust Friday last stream. So that is what is up for today. And here they are. Here they all are. Well, soon at least. There I am. Oh, dun, dun, dun. And hopefully I can have that one up. I'm not sure. Well, oh, hello, Ellen. From Norway. Hello. I guess it's Norway. Hello, Crocheting Bat, Wesimbama, Bridget, Turnips, Unfit for Normalcy, and Denise Sells, and everybody over at X. Hello to you guys. Hello to you guys. Everybody over at Rumble. Yes, I have a Rumble channel. It is a backup because you never know with the YouTubes if they suddenly, and we've seen it on occasions that people disappear from YouTubes because reasons. So I have also a Rumble channel just in case. And I'm just now seeing why is my internet down on 1 or 2 bars? I don't know. Oh, it's back up again. So, all right. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Denmark. My deepest apologies. I know better than to call a Dane a Norwegian. But I mean, let's go right into it. Let's pick up the subtitles as well and just go. Now, he already played it in 1.25. So there's nothing I can do about that. But that's the speed I normally do myself because I talk a lot. I do commentary, I do snark, and well, all the things. So normally I play the stuff in 1.25 because sometimes I pause. All right. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you all here. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. You know all the YouTube things. All right. Let's go.
But I didn't know why I recognized you. Now I recognize you. Thank you. Who's planning on calling Paul?
It's the defense, Your Honor.
And your motion to quash is based on a sense of two of what's the reason you're bringing the motion to quash?
Well, 3 reasons, Your Honor. The first one is that it's not relevant, even if it is relevant, it's oppressive and beyond the scope of reasonableness. They've issued a subpoena that has requested an unlimited scope of emails, phone records, text messages between 4 different people who have nothing to do with the underlying case.
So let me ask, Mr. Brito, are you seeking his information or are you seeking for him to be a witness?
Both, Your Honor. And
the witness is the big thing, right?
Right.
And you're saying that, and by the way, I hope nobody minds me just jumping in.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
Just trying to get the bottom line thing.
Yep.
So,
do you want me to give you a proffer, Judge?
This person is a witness. Yep. He's a recipient witness to something.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
How do you get past that?
I accept that he may be a recipient witness.
So you're contesting the documents?
Well, I'm contesting the documents. I'm also requesting the court's indulgence because my client is a victim and across the street every day, and that's 24/7 becomes his occupation. We don't want to interfere with his ability to support his family across the street.
I totally understand that. So if she's a recipient witness, she's a side, you call a recipient witness. As far as the documents, is there any way to table that until later?
Yes, and Judge, I just want you to know, I just want to remind counsel, I did email him saying I was cognizant of his objection about breadth, and I said that we would agree to narrow it to the 30 days prior to the 2/26, the date of offense.
My question for me is,
Yep.
do I have to figure out the documents right now? Is that really
So,
necessary?
can I give you just a short offer of proof? So we contend, Judge, there was a conspiracy among certain people to trigger a restraining order violation here. And
Who's your first witness that's going to open the door to that relevancy?
that would be our second witness, Ms. Jill Dadnam.
Wednesday witness.
Okay, yes, it looks like that, Your Honor. Yep.
So I'm just going to make a preliminary finding. The recipient witness, the court is not going to quash that. As far as the documents, as things unfold, whether it be today or on Wednesday, sorry to have to bring you back. Does that work?
So yeah, the prosecution. Mr. Judge, they are ruining our case by bringing witnesses. Please squash it. Squash it. Nope, he won't.
Bring me back, not him, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Well, it's
okay.
going to be across the street on this day, by the way. Anyway, if necessary, right?
Yes, he'll be across the street for sure.
And I don't see how you're going to be able to succeed in not having him be a witness in this courtroom on Wednesday.
I recognize and appreciate that. So the goal wasn't to say that they don't have a theoretical right to ask him questions. However, I believe that there are other witnesses that stand for the same proposition and satisfy that. But
This
put
doesn't
that
work out in a
aside.
criminal case.
I understand. I appreciate that.
So I'm going to say this, the motion to quash is denied, at least as it relates to your client's attendance as a witness in this case, and we'll do a further review as it relates to the documents on Wednesday, all right?
Yes. At what time on Wednesday, Your Honor?
Probably start at 11, we would go from 11 all the way to the end of the day on Wednesday.
Oh, okay, great, Your Honor, thank you.
And I should be here for the duration to try to figure that out.
We can be flexible with your schedule,
I understand.
certainly as well as the witness's schedule.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Your Honor. Okay, thank
You
you.
have the ruling right now, right?
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Here's one more.
Ah, there he is.
Just
Hello,
endorsing
Aidan.
motion denied in part right now.
I have no idea, Denise. I have no idea if this is the same judge. I don't know if everything is under the same judge or in the
Pretrial
same
motion,
county.
either party wants you to address.
I think we both filed a lot of motions to eliminate, Your Honor. Obviously, a lot of those are probably not really germane to a bench trial,
Hi,
but
Sherry.
some may be.
Mr. Cosgrove, why don't you start with the ones that you want me to hold?
All right. Judge, I have a motion to establish safeguards to protect against attempts to influence the jury. I think I can waive that. The only pertinent part is I certainly have no objection to anybody being in the courtroom. I would just ask that no buttons, T-shirts, signs, et cetera, be displayed in support or against either side.
We agree with that, Your Honor.
All set, thank you. What's the next one?
The next one, Your Honor, is the Commonwealth's motion in limine to prohibit collateral attack on the validity of the alleged victim's restraining order or the instant complaint.
Any objection to that?
Yes, Judge, there is. The issue there, Your Honor, is that
Do I have that, Mr. Yancey? I'm looking for it. Here it is.
this court, Your Honor, you might recall that we filed a motion to vacate the entire order under the doctrine of unclean hands, the equitable doctrine of unclean hands. And Your Honor came back kind of sua sponte, and you said that because of the nature of how this transpired, you made a ruling that every courthouse in the Commonwealth was a safe haven for this. And I think that, I guess it's sort of redundant in a bench trial, but we were anticipating that it was relevant to the idea that this order shouldn't be covering courthouses. And it was modified by you because of the potential abuse. So in that sense, I would argue it's relevant.
I don't think I used any of those words.
Correct.
Thank you.
I used
Thank
the
you,
word
Alan.
safe haven, and I
Thank you
didn't
so
use the word
much.
abuse. I just said that it really wasn't necessary.
A brief pause. Welcome, Alan, to being a member. The membership on this channel is $3 a month. Well, you have a $6 or $5 option, but it's basically the same things. With that, you get all and everything. What do you call it? You get access to all my members only content here on YouTube. You get access to all the different members only emojis, which is nice Viking, happy Viking, love Viking, boomer, my tractor, female Viking, three-hole wonder, because Jody Harris, Mr. Jingles Christmas, and for some reason the Scottish flag. There they are. So you have access to those. And also on my YouTube page, you will find a link to my Discord. All right. So all of that for just $3 a month. Yay. Thank you so much. Deeply appreciated.
Necessary as it relates, for obvious reasons. The courthouse is, particularly since your client does business in courthouse.
Sure.
All right.
So I'm not going to oppose it. In light of what you said, Judge, we're not opposing it.
Motion away. What's your next one, Mr. Cosgrove?
A Commonwealth's motion in limine to prohibit evidence of alleged prior or subsequent bad acts of the alleged victim.
Is this a germane subject?
It is not, Your Honor.
Motion away.
Commonwealth's motion in limine to prohibit inadmissible hearsay, opinion evidence, and certain irrelevant information. And this primarily pertains, Your Honor, to the witnesses who Mr. Bradel has listed, who previously submitted affidavits, and my reading of the affidavits, which are, in my view, replete with information which would be hearsay, mind reading, improper testimony before a court.
Okay, that's just the rules of evidence.
Right. I was going to say, can we just go on a case-by-case basis on this?
Yeah, rules of evidence are going to apply, and the court really is not going to be interested from either side on conclusions, opinions, evaluation type of evidence. Right? So it goes on a question-by-question basis.
I think that does it for the Commonwealth, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we have an omnibus motion for rulings, just one filing, and it's just a pretty simple paragraph by paragraph. Number 1 is all set. Number 2 involves promises, rewards, inducements.
I will state for the record there are none to any witness.
And number 3 is a sequestration request, Judge. I don't know if there's an objection. Number 4 really is more directed at a jury, but just
Yeah. What's happening now? This is still just before the trial starts. They have these last-minute motions. They have some things to take care of. This is perfectly normal. This is perfect. Usually, when the trials I cover, this part takes days, and it's not here. I'm very glad this isn't taking days. All right, let's continue.
opinion terms as victim, suspect, target, this kind of stuff. Number 5 involves my client's any alleged other bad acts than this violation of a restraining order. I would anticipate some testimony about the picture of the relationship, but other than that, I wouldn't expect or ask or seek myself any other bad acts.
I don't anticipate introducing any bad acts unless some doors are opened, and if I feel that that's the case, I would approach the court at sidebar before going in that direction.
Thank you, sir.
Number 6 is our voir dire questions, obviously not necessary, Your Honor. 7 is prejudicial references. I think that the court's going to be immune to any prejudice from any of that stuff, so that's not necessary. Judge, number 8, the last one, number 8 is a little bit of requires a little bit of an explanation. So,
Chief, let me ask, before we move on this, are there any potential witnesses you asked to leave as we argue this? Or no?
are there any potential witnesses? I think everyone is anticipating the sequestration. I think we're all set.
Yeah, I can see that.
Thank you. So, Judge, we contend that the complainant here is a serial abuser of restraining orders. And Mr. Kearney had information that affected his state of mind on 2/26 on the day in question. And that information was that, and this is all on video, and you can see this video, and we anticipate it will be in evidence, where Ms. Kearney got a restraining order on a prior father of some of her kids, and somehow found him in a CVS parking lot in, I believe it was Mansfield, Mass. And she showed up at his location with a restraining order in place against him. And she sat in his car, and this is all on video. And she went into his car and sat down and called the police. And the police, this is all on video. The police came to the scene, arrested this unfortunate gentleman for violating the restraining order. And so the issue is a couple of different evidentiary bases. Number 1 is my client's state of mind. That's why he went across the street, we contend, and stayed with a policeman and went where the policeman told him to go, because he wanted to get this documented because he had just seen this video in the days prior.
What are you asking for me to allow or prohibit?
The video.
You're objecting to the video?
Yeah, sure.
All right, the video can be played, and if it's not relevant, the court will disregard it.
Thank you. And that's all we have, Your Honor.
All right. You ready to start?
Yes. Want an opening, Your Honor?
Okay, I'm going to ask you if you wish to provide one, Mr. Cosgrove. Please proceed.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, from the Commonwealth's point of view, this is a very simple and straightforward case.
Yeah, this is not a normal opening statement. Well, it is still an opening statement, but since this is a bench trial, there's, I predict, less theater, less clairvoyance. I mean, when the difference between how attorneys and prosecutors, especially prosecutors, I've noticed, between bench trial and jury trial. I covered the trial about a year and a half ago, and a short time before the trial started, the defendant chose a bench trial. Now, he was still convicted, so it didn't really matter. But the state's case in that trial went from 5 weeks to 2 weeks. It was a murder trial. That's the difference between that. Now, the guy really, it was beyond reasonable doubt. So the 3 extra weeks in that trial, it was the trial, the Henry Dinkins trial. Henry Dinkins trial about a year and a half ago I covered. And I was so infuriated because at points in that trial, the prosecution had all the evidence and almost threw it away on weird theories. It was really, really strange because they could have done that trial in less than a week. And they actually thought with a jury trial they would have had a 5-week trial. But once it got to a bench trial, all the flowery stuff, all the things disappeared, and it was pure facts, theories, witnesses, and stuff. It is a clear difference sometimes between bench trials and jury trials.
Ms. Lindsay Gattani sought a restraining order from the court. It was a hearing in which the defendant was present and was represented by counsel. The court heard evidence, and at the conclusion of that hearing, a restraining order was issued. Among the things in that order was a requirement that the defendant remain 100 yards away from Ms. Gattani. On February 26th of 2024, Ms. Gattani had made plans to join a group of witnesses and family members of the O'Keefe family at a pretrial hearing at the Karen Reed case across the street. And the plan was that they would assemble out in the parking lot behind the Registry of Deeds or thereabouts, and they would.
And they all knew Aidan was covering the trial and was going there. Now, I don't know what. My hope is that the O'Keefe family will wake up sooner or later. No, Paul won't. Paul won't. Don't contact any of the O'Keefe family. Don't contact any of the O'Keefe families. But hopefully, at one point, they will wake up from the lies they were told and realize, holy crap, we nourished the more probable killers close to us.
Would proceed as a group across the street through the milling, demonstrating crowds, and they would walk up from there and proceed up the stairs and enter the courtroom. And essentially, that's what happened. Ms. Kearney parked in the rear, far rear of the Registry of Deeds parking lot. She met up with some other people, and she proceeded across the street. She got upstairs, gained admission to the courtroom along with members of the O'Keefe family and some of the witnesses for the Commonwealth in the case. When she got in the courtroom, Mr. Kearney was already seated, presumably in his capacity as a YouTube personality journalist. After a short period of time, Mr. Kearney was seen to look in her direction. He obviously was within 100 yards of her. And at that point, Your Honor, the evidence will be that he started to do the right thing. He got up, he left the court, went downstairs. From there, I can't tell the court exactly where he positioned himself, but one thing is for sure, he did not leave the area in an attempt to distance himself 100 yards from where Ms. Kearney was located. Rather, he waited outside, knowing the Commonwealth would suggest that Ms. Kearney was going to come out the same exit that she went in. And when that was about to happen, he approached a police officer who was there, assigned to control the crowds and so forth. The officer was quite busy. And the evidence will be that Mr. Kearney approached the police officer and said, "I want this on record." He pulled out his own cell phone and recorded the conversation. The Commonwealth will play the conversation for Your Honor. You will see that the Commonwealth has a different view of what the police officer told Mr. Kearney than Mr. Kearney apparently does. Mr. Kearney then proceeded across the street to the Registry of Deeds parking lot and waited. And as he knew would happen, Ms. Kearney came out. At that point, Your Honor, if there was not a violation before, there certainly was at that point because Mr. Kearney positioned himself about 30 yards away from the Superior Courthouse steps, standing in front of the Registry of Deeds. When Ms. Kearney came out, he made no effort to remove himself further to the 100-yard area.
Bullshit.
Rather, as Ms. Kearney proceeded down the ramp, the handicap ramp, the evidence will show that Mr. Kearney moved along with her. And by the time she turned down the street to return to her car, the evidence will show he was even closer to her. From there, Ms. Kearney proceeded to her car. Mr. Kearney is out of the picture now. Returned to her car, found that her car had been vandalized. One of her friends called the police. Police officer, Officer Kozak, was dispatched.
Yeah. I wonder who did, because it sure as hell, in my opinion, wasn't Aidan or any of the Karen Reed support. Why would they even know which one was her car? How? Nah. I call bullshit on that one.
To this location on a reported malicious destruction. He spoke with Ms. Kearney, who at that point was very concerned about the damage to her car, and he proceeded to investigate the malicious destruction charge. He left. Ms. Kearney got in her car. She was anxious to pick up her children. And when she got in her car, she realized that Officer Kozak had said nothing about the 209A violation. She had briefly informed him she had a 209A order, but he hadn't pursued it, and she hadn't pursued it either. So she called the police and reported it, and subsequently was told that in that call that she needed to come down to the police station and make a report, which she did that night. That would be the Commonwealth's evidence, Your Honor. And we would ask, as a result of that evidence, that you find that Mr. Kearney deliberately violated the restraining order by placing himself within 100 yards of where Ms. Kearney was and not leaving, in fact, coming even closer. That would be the Commonwealth's case.
Thank you very much. Please name.
I can guarantee you, if this was a jury trial, that opening statement would have been, instead of the, what was it, 5 minutes? 7 minutes? Something of the sort. It would be at least an hour. At least an hour. Talking about, oh, hurt feels. Oh, hurt feels. Oh, she's scared. Oh, she's scared.
Please support, Your Honor. Timothy Bradle on behalf of Aidan Kearney. Judge, when a court grants a restraining order in favor of somebody, it vests in that person a responsibility. and it's ripe for abuse. It's prone to abuse. And in this case, Your Honor, the only abuse that was going on was abuse by Lindsay Gattani of the order. Mr. Kearney was incarcerated for 60 days under a bail revocation, under her allegation of this minimal assault and battery that the government abandoned in this court and didn't even indict and take it across the street with the rest of that case. Ms. Gattani was enlisted. We contend there was in the O'Keefe family, the McCabe family, who are witnesses in the Kearney case across the street. That's an ongoing murder case, just for the record. And these folks enlisted Ms. Gattani, who they had never met before. Ms. Gattani had never come to a hearing in the Kearney case before, and Mr. Kearney had just gotten out of jail for about 3 or 4 days. And this was his first time going back to his job at the courthouse reporting on the Kearney case. This case, we contend, Judge, is going to be no different than if a guy's working at the Exxon station down the street in the mechanic days and someone who got a restraining order on him walks over there and goes to the gas pumps. There's no reason to go to where you know the person is going to be. And the evidence will show here that Gattani knew that Mr. Kearney was out of jail, that he was in this hearing doing his job reporting. And the evidence will show, Your Honor, that he got into the courtroom at about 1:50 p.m. for a 2 o'clock hearing on 2/26. And then we have video that shows Ms. Gattani walking into the courthouse with the O'Keefes and the McCabe's, Jennifer McCabe and Paul O'Keefe. She's walking in with them. We have evidence, Judge, that will show that when they got upstairs, Jennifer McCabe said to Ms. Gattani, "Tell them you're with the O'Keefes. Tell them you're part of the O'Keefe's family." Words to that effect, to get her in the courtroom. You'll see from video and photographs that she's prominently, conspicuously holding a piece of paper in her hand. She's got the restraining order out. Her testimony will be that as soon as she walked in the door on the first floor, she opened up the order and showed a court officer. She was waving this order around from the minute she walked into my client's place of work. And she's trying to get him out of there. How do we know she's trying to get him out of there? How do we know she isn't just a good faith observer of the case like many other people? Here's what the evidence will show on that point, Your Honor. She talks about, I got to go get home and get my kids. So she lives in Medfield, which is about a 30-minute drive away. So that will tell the fact finder in this case that she was just coming to flush out Mr. Kearney out of the courtroom for the McCabe's and the O'Keefes and the Alberts. And the evidence will show all of that. And she had to get back and go get her kids. So she wasn't here as a good faith observer of anything. She was here at their behest to try to effectuate a restraining order violation. And then she had to get home to her kids. So unexpectedly, the evidence will show that hearing was over at 2:10. It was only 10 minutes. Everybody will testify to you, Your Honor, that they were there expecting a pretty substantial pretrial hearing that was going to be a good hearing to attend for these observers. And this was a 10-minute thing. So Mr. Kearney was outside. But before I get to outside, let me tell you a little bit more about inside. So the evidence is going to show that in this courtroom, at about 1:50 p.m., Mr. Kearney and his girlfriend, Meredith O'Neill, who's going to be our first witness, are sitting in the courtroom. And you can see that Ms. Gattani comes in, and the evidence will show that Meredith O'Neill sees her and says, "Get up, we got to go." And then Mr. Kearney, you'll see, turns around and looks, and he sees her, and they get up. And there's going to be evidence from the government that he looks back and says the F word when he sees her, and that's a complete lie, and it's not on video. That's what the evidence is going to show on that. Ms. O'Neill gets up, and Mr. Kearney gets up, and we're going to see this on the video. It's 19 seconds. They're out of there in 19 seconds. Gattani comes in and sits down. Where does she sit? Right behind Paul O'Keefe, right amongst all these people that she's never met before, or maybe she just recently met them because she was enlisted into doing this, and she's never been to a hearing before. Now she has the restraining order. Now Mr. Kearney's out of jail, and here she is. So Mr. Kearney and Ms. O'Neill get up and get out, and they leave. And they do, and I appreciate the Kamal saying that, they did the right thing, and they got out of there. And Mr. Kearney goes downstairs, and he's approached by Ms. Jill Dadman, who's a witness. You're going to hear from her. She comes up to him. She's very excited, and she informs him that Jennifer McCabe upstairs told Lindsay Gattani to tell the court officer that she's part of the O'Keefe family. And she reports that in a very excited way to Mr. Kearney. And then Mr. Kearney leaves. He goes down the steps. Okay, and incidentally, Judge, the Commonwealth is going to try to contend that this 100 yards business is some as the crow flies thing that they did with a drone or whatever they did, in trying to put every resource to bear against Mr. Kearney as usual. And people are not drones; they don't know what 100 yards is as the crow flies. Mr. Kearney, the evidence will show, paced off what he did and where he walked, and then it was right at about 100 yards. And nonetheless, Your Honor, putting the numbers, whatever the number is, aside for a second, Mr. Kearney goes down the stairs in the front of the Superior Court. And there's an officer directing traffic or letting pedestrians get across that busy section of the street there. And it's Officer Crump. He's going to be here to testify as well. And Mr. Kearney walks right up to him, and he's live streaming, which is when you video yourself talking. He's live streaming what's going on because he sees what just happened, and he wants to document everything, and he does not want to get jammed up by this in any stretch of the imagination. So he's live streaming what's going on. He's trying to document it. He walks up to Officer Crump, and granted, Officer Crump's a little busy in the intersection, but he says, this woman has a restraining order on me. Where's the effect? And I have to get out of there. Where should I go? She's in the courthouse. She's in the courtroom. Where should I go? And the Officer Crump says, "Go up there for now." People will testify that they see him gesture, and people did hear him say, "Go up there for now." And just incidentally, we have a videotape of it because Mr. Kearney is live streaming it. And they both kind of talk at once. I'm just giving you a heads up on the evidence. They both kind of talk at once, but when you slow down the video a little bit, you can hear him say, "Go up there for now." So it's a little bit hard to hear at first, but we'll get it to you and you'll hear this. Officer Crump says, "Go up there for now." What's the significance of that, Your Honor?
Can you do that in closing?
I'm sorry. The issue, though, Judge, is that the government has told Mr. Kearney to go somewhere, and he follows directions. The evidence will show that the government tells him where to go, and he follows directions. He stays up there because he wants to report to Crump what happened and document what happened. and he doesn't want to leave because he doesn't know where Kearney's going to go, and he has this Frank Keegan thing in his head that she has just set up another guy, and he just saw the video of it. He doesn't want to walk somewhere and run into her alone. He doesn't know, so he wants to stay with the policeman. He stays where the policeman tells him to go, and he waits. Meanwhile, this hearing is over in only 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, over 100 people come out of the courthouse. And you'll see yourself from the video as a fact finder. Everybody's got black hair, black sunglasses, black coats. It's a sea of people. Mr. Kearney is live streaming. He's talking. He doesn't see her, and she doesn't see him, is what the evidence is going to show. This isn't accidental contact. This isn't incidental contact. This is no contact. This is after the fact manufacturing by Lindsay Kearney. This is a post hoc thing, Judge, where Kearney and her group walk by. Mr. Kearney is live streaming. He's talking. He's outraged about what happened. You'll see bits and pieces of it. He's just going on and on about how she came in there and all this, and he had to get out of there. He will testify that he does not want anything to do with this person. He doesn't want to see her, doesn't want to go near her. He has every incentive in the world to get the hell away from her, which is what he did on that day. And this contact that they're trying to remanufacture later was completely no contact. So what happens is, Judge, and we know this from the witnesses, we know this from the video, there's all kinds of video and stills, and I just want to say the evidence will show none of this is from my client's phones or anything else. This is from other people giving us things. So none of this is from Mr. Kearney's phones or videos or anything. And it shows that this group that contains Kearney walks out of the courthouse, walks around the side of the registry between this building and the registry, and they're walking behind the building. Meanwhile, Ms. O'Neill, who walked out with Mr. Kearney, she let Mr. Kearney do his live streaming, and she walked over to another location across the street and was talking with supporters and doing this and that. But luckily, Ms. O'Neill was in the same area as Kearney, but she wasn't with Kearney. She went to the back parking lot behind the registry, and she saw Kearney and the McCabe's and the Alberts, all these co-conspirators, we contend, walking, happily joking, fine. No one's upset. No one's like, oh, the Kearney was back there, call 911. Nothing consistent with observing Mr. Kearney violating the order that Kearney's been waving around for half an hour in the courthouse. Nobody does anything. They go back to their cars. We have video of that as well from a gentleman who provided us a video who was driving by. They're joking, they're laughing, they're talking, completely inconsistent with her just seeing, the person she's supposedly terrified of. So that's when this 911 call happens. Some newfound friend of Ms. Kearney calls 911 and says, this car's vandalized. Not Kearney just violated the order, go arrest him. My car's scratched. So you'll see from the series of events that Mr. Kearney was nowhere near her car, could not have done it, didn't do it, etc. But in any event, they call the police because she thinks her van is scratched, or ironically, a cracked taillight, she mentions. So Officer Kozak responds to the call. And Officer Kozak, you're going to hear from him, Judge. And he comes and he deals with it. He does a really good job. He takes photos, he documents this thing. He will testify. No one said anything about a restraining order violation, which would have been 10 minutes prior, 15 minutes prior. No one said a word about it. He documents it. We all know that if that was stated to him, he would have had to go arrest him, and he was right around the corner. So nothing ever happened. So that shows it's a complete lie that Ms. Kearney saw him and was traumatized, and, because we know that Ms. Kearney tried to contend to police that she saw him yelling at her, which was a complete fabrication. Liar, liar, liar is what you're going to hear. Didn't happen. We have at least, in this case, we'll probably call 3 out of 5 or 6 people that all swear and all were with Mr. Kearney. He didn't say a word. He clearly didn't even perceive her. He was live streaming and ranting and raving. Yes, sir. Sorry. He's ranting and raving. He's live streaming. He's doing his own thing because he's very upset about what happened. So there's going to be no evidence of that other than Kearney, and it's contradicted by Kozak. And, a completely disinterested, uninterested officer who's taken a routine report. So you have Officer Crump, and then you have Officer Kozak. And then you'll hear some evidence about Ms. Kearney calling in and making different statements about it, and I'll leave that subject to cross-examination. If I could just have one moment, Your Honor. And you'll also see, Judge, a progression of events where to prove this notion that Kearney only shows up when she knows Mr. Kearney is going to be there. There's a few series of court appearances. March 20th, Mr. Kearney announced he was going to go to that court appearance. She shows up. March 26th, he says he's not going to go to the court appearance. She doesn't show up. March 12th, says he's not going to go to the appearance. She doesn't go to the appearance. So all the evidence here, Judge, is going to show that Ms. Kearney is doing this not because of an accident or an accidental encounter. She's going to him. And how do we further know that? Because that's her pattern, that's her plan, that's her intent. There's no mistake or accident. She's done it before. The Keegan video is going to show you this is her MO, and she's doing it again. She's doing it now at the behest of the O'Keefes and the Alberts and the McCabe's. So this entire thing's a fabrication, Your Honor. Mr. Kearney made an absolute good faith attempt to comply. He left where she went in bad faith. He stayed where the government told him to stay, and he had no idea she was there, and she had no idea he was there. There was no contact. She only learned it later that there was contact, and she tried to gin it up by saying, he said liar, liar. The evidence in this case will show this is nothing more than an abominable lie and a conspiracy and an attempt to manipulate this court and to manipulate the restraining order process. And I will ask you to find him not guilty. Thank you.
All right. Again, this is probably not what would have been said to a jury. This is also a difference between, as I said earlier, with the state's opening statement when it comes to a bench trial. It's more directly. You are more careful with your words with a jury, because you don't know what kind of words and repetitive words that might offend a juror. With a judge, he's been on there since, by the looks of him, since 1899. He've heard it all. And so there is a clear difference in the opening statements between bench trial and jury trials. That is what I was trying to say. All right, let's go on. Now, for you who want to see this without my commentary, it's on Turtleboy's page. So on his YouTube, so you can watch it all without this face and this mouth going up, 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 up. But please stay. Please stay.
Good morning. If you're joining us on the telephone conference line and you haven't yet muted your phone, please do so.
Ready to call your first witness, Mr. Cosgrove?
Yes, I am, Your Honor. Yeah, Paul Delano, please.
Judge, before Mr. Delano gets in here, could we have a couple of chairs and use the table here? Is that all right? I'd just like to have a table in front of me. All right, thank you very much. And Judge, also, Ms. Healy, my paralegal's here. Would it be all right if she's in here helping me? Thank you. Thank you.
I have no idea who Mr. Paul Delaney
We
is.
need 2 chairs, Judge. Can I grab these or? All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Both counsel are satisfied. I'll step on.
Thank you.
Court, all rise. We'll take the brief recess. Court back in session, you can see Quiet, please.
We are back on the record. Commonwealth versus Aidan Kearney. As a reminder to those joining us on the telephone, please have your phones muted.
Yeah. If the sound is quiet from witnesses, I use enhancer for YouTube, which enhances the sound. I also have another just a volume enhancer, which I can use to enhance sound if it gets too quiet. But you have to tell me, because my sound is I have extra sound in my headphones, so you have to tell me, pump up the volume, and I will try.
Sir, can you just read your name?
You solemnly swear in this matter now hearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God. Thank you.
Could you introduce yourself to the court, sir?
I think Paul Delano, L-A-L.
And how are you employed, sir?
Works in trial court, Massachusetts trial court.
And how long have you worked for the trial court?
21 years,
And where are you presently assigned?
Norfolk State.
And how long have you been assigned to Norfolk State?
For 5 years.
Directing your attention to February 26th of 2024. Are you aware of whether or not there was a hearing in the Kearney case?
It was.
And did you work that day?
I did.
And what was your particular assignment?
I was assigned to the judge, so I would have been on the side with the judge.
And when you say the judge, Judge Kearney?
Yes,
And what courtroom was she said?
that was the main session.
I want to ask you a little bit about the layout going in and out of Norfolk Superior Court. I'm going to hand you a stack of photographs, ask you to take a look at them, and tell me if you recognize those locations generally.
I did.
And what do those photographs show to you?
The main session door, front door, inside the main session, hallway to the back door, and back door.
And do those photographs fairly and accurately depict things that you just identified?
Yes.
Now,
No objection.
could we have photo 9, please? Number 9, please. So looking at that photograph projected on the screen, can you tell us what it depicts?
The front door security entrance.
So what's the purpose of that setup?
Well, scan people, yeah, X-ray machine, and we have the other machine and go through the metals and stuff like that.
And is the courtroom designed, is the courthouse designed so that people enter in a particular place?
The front door.
So if they come through there, they walk out. All right. And when they walk out, how would they get from there to the session where the Kearney hearing was being held that day?
When you walk through the front door, this says stairs on the left-hand side, the right, if you have a picture on the left, would be on the right-hand side walking.
So you could proceed up those stairs.
Yes.
Is there any other way to get up to the main courtroom?
Elevator,
Where's the elevator located?
this picture would be to the right-hand side.
All right. You don't actually see it, but it would be
Right behind that desk.
Okay. Just in the lower right-hand corner. All right. So if one walked up the stairs, at the top of the stairs, where would the main session courtroom be?
When you get to the top of the stairs, it would be on the right-hand side.
And could we have number 10, please? Can you identify that?
Look at the doors going into the main session.
So somebody going into the main session would pass through those doors.
Yes.
Is there any other way for the public to get into the main session?
No.
Okay. And number 11, please. What does that show?
That's the main session.
And where would the spectators be located?
The left and right, benches on the left and the right.
Towards the back of the photo, or the front of the photo?
Yes.
And in terms of departure from the courthouse, is there an area that the public is directed to go up?
The main door.
Same way they came in. Now, is there also a rear door? There is. Number 12, please. Can you tell us, first of all, where somebody would be standing to take this photograph? What's the viewpoint?
I would point you near the civil clerk's office.
Okay. And if you walk down that corridor, what do you come?
Straight ahead.
Yeah.
You go to the back door.
I wish we could see what they are pointing at, but this is just descriptions of, hey, where were you? There? Oh, thank you.
And are those doors we see in the photographs?
Yes.
And could we get 13, please? And this is a closer photo of those same doors.
Yes.
Now, why wouldn't somebody just walk out that way?
Yes, signage up is the alarm.
And is that exit in view of one of our core offices?
Yes.
There are also video cameras in place from which court personnel can watch people as they move throughout the building.
Yes.
Is that one of the locations covered?
Yes.
All right. So on the day in question, I think you indicated you were assigned to Judge Pinoni's courtroom.
Yes.
Are you familiar at all with the defendant in this case, Mr. Kearney? And have you had occasion to see him in court prior to this day?
Yes.
Do you see him in court today? Can you point out where he's seated, please?
Stipulate, Your Honor.
Thank you, we'll accept.
Yeah. There are studies showing that just the act of pointing out the defendant, especially in jury trials, actually is quite detrimental to the defendant. Instead of just, because everybody knows who is there, the jury knows who the defendant is. Just to act by, that's him. That act in itself might be prejudicial. Now, it still is regarded as normal in courtroom, but thank you, widow. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Maybe in the future that practice will be gone, but as of now, it's still ongoing, and that is why. But now it's a bench trial. It really isn't necessary.
On that particular day, did you see Mr. Kearney?
Yes.
And at what point did you see him here?
It was probably one of the last ones to come in, right before the session was started.
Oh, for fuck's sake! There, Cash, you absolute fucktwat, you moron, you piece of human garbage. I do not live stream this as it is my own, you fucktwat. I add commentary. Gee, how can people like Cash, how can people be this moronic? I know Turtleboy released this last night. I told everybody about this at the beginning of the stream. This is from there. If you want to see this without this face, adding commentary, get over there. This is no different from any other fucking trial. You fucking moron. Get the fuck out of my... Yeah, you're out. You're out. Where is it? Fuck off. Go fuck yourself. Fuck off. Jesus, how this is actively making yourself stupid. Jesus Christ, this pisses me off. Yeah, he's banned from the channel. There might be content creators out there who likes, oh, I like this shit in my, it adds viewers. I don't give a fuck. If you're that stupid, I don't want you here because this is my place.
You recall what he did?
Let's continue.
Did you see him actually come in?
I did.
All right, so he came through those main session doors that we saw earlier.
Yes.
And he took a seat. Was he alone or was somebody with him? Do you recall?
I don't really recall walking with somebody.
All right, and after he took his seat, well, let's try that. Are you also familiar with the woman named Lindsay Gittard?
I am not.
Do you have a recollection of whether you saw Ms. Gittard on that day?
I really don't know what she looks like, so I know the person did come in.
So you saw someone come in. Can you describe it? well, the person you saw come in.
Really, just physically, I don't know. I know first of all, I went to the right-hand side. Next question.
Do you recall the person was there or was female? And shortly after you observed that person come in, did you observe anything with respect to Mr. Kearney? Do you know if anybody spoke to him before he got up and left, or did you stand up on his own?
He was good.
And you say he got up and left. Did you see him next to the courtroom yourself?
I know he left. I mean, I know he left the courtroom.
Did you see him?
Yes, I see him over the door.
Oh, and did you see him again after that?
I do not.
Thank you. No further questions.
Judge, is it okay if I stand over here? I promise I won't mess up these wires. No problem. Thank you. Officer Delano, good afternoon. Good morning, sir. It's right on the cusp. You're a court officer of 20 years? 21 years. And you were working on 22624 across the street in the North Superior Court, correct?
Yes.
And there was a Kearney hearing that day at 2 p.m.
I believe so.
in the main courtroom. And that hearing was a pretrial hearing, if you recall. Is that right?
Probably, I'm not 100% sure.
Were you, if you know, were you anticipating a quick, short hearing or like kind of an all afternoon?
I don't really remember.
Okay.
I mean, the usual. You answer the question.
It would be unusual for a hearing like that, where everyone is assembled like that, to be like a 5 or 10 minute hearing, right? Do you agree on that?
Objection.
It's the same thing.
I'll ask another question. That's fine. All right. So when were you first asked to kind of dredge up your memory about this date, this court appearance?
Maybe a couple months ago.
A couple months ago. So probably a little more than a year after the event, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it would probably be helpful with if we had some video of the event, right?
Sure.
Judge, I have a video from Fox News of this event that I'd like to ask Notice Healings.
Well, I have not seen it, Your Honor, but go ahead. If I have an object, I'll move to strike.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And we did provide, that was in Ms. Healy's email, all with the thumbnails.
Oh, if that's the case, I have seen it. I apologize. Fox News threw me off.
Can you see that, Your Honor? Okay. All right, and so Ms. Healy, just back up about 15 seconds and play that. Do you see that also? And hit play. Just pause it at 4:45, please. All right. And so, does that look like?
I believe this is it might be from inside the courtroom where they now show, oh, there she walks in, there he fucks off. I believe this trial stream doesn't show what's on the screens in the courtroom, sadly.
Layout and video of the hearing that day? Yes. All right. And can you see yourself in there yet anywhere? I don't. All right. And can you play, please?
Getting with the prosecution, the parties introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Buckland.
And pause it, please. Is that you there, officer on the left?
Yes.
Okay, so you're kind of in the back by the audience, correct?
Yes.
You're not really near the judge, though, right? And do you, at that point, can you recall, do you have an awareness of where Mr. Kearney was in this in the court?
I gotta say, if he wasn't there at that time, probably behind me, but I'm pretty sure he left by the time the judge came on the bench.
Okay, all right, well, let's play it and let's see what happens. Can you play, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Elizabeth
Pause it.
Oh yeah.
And do you see the gentleman that just jumped up there in the tan suit to the left? Do you recognize him? Who is it?
Oh yeah. So this is I don't know if it's Turtleboy or who actually did the video. So this is great. This is great editing. I wish I could edit. So whoever made the video cut in what happened in the actual hearing. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you, TB.
Okay, so the hearing does start, and that's when Mr. Kearney jumps up, right? Yes. Okay. And then do you see someone in like kind of a reddish dress as well?
I do.
Do you recognize her at all?
I don't know.
Okay. Could you hit play, please?
Good afternoon.
On behalf of the street.
Good afternoon, Ms. Little.
And then could we see the timestamp of when they get up? Was it 5:14? What is it? I'm sorry.
5:04.
5:04. Thank you. So from 4:45 to 5:04 is basically the entire time that they are present, correct? Yes. And an officer, the event that causes them to get up is Ms. Lindsay Gattani walking into the courtroom, correct?
Yes.
And that was right when they got up, wasn't it? And they got right out of there, didn't they? They did. So no one had to tell them to get out of there, correct? Do you remember, Officer, Mr. Kearney coming in to the courtroom? I believe I see him come in. Okay. But what did you see? You come in, you go to your left-hand side, before we afterwards. And you're here today with a colleague officer as well, correct? Yes. And who is that? Eugenia. And what's her last name? I don't know. Okay, and Officer Eugenia, she was working that day? So I believe. Did you see her anywhere in the video that we showed? I did not. Do you know where she was stationed? Could have been at the back door, could have been on the outside. Thank you, Officer. Anything on redirect?
Nothing on redirect, Your Honor. May the witness be excused. Thanks. Eugenia Dunn, please.
Afternoon, please solemnly swear to sign on here and to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I just
Ms. Dunn, would you introduce yourself to the court, please?
Hi, my name is Eugenia Dunn.
And in the good old days, we had stenographers was done, and I could just hand the stenographer for the witness list, but these days everything's electronic, so I'm going to have to ask you to spell your last name.
Last name D-U-N-N.
And how are you employed for this stuff?
I'm employed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
And what do you do for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
I work for the trial court.
How long have you worked for the trial court?
6 years. Almost 6 years.
What did you do before you worked for the trial court?
I worked at Pine Street and Women's Inn as a counselor for the shelter.
And at what point in your work for the trial court did you begin doing assignments in the Norfolk Superior Court to the best of your recollection?
July 2021,
All right. And before that, where did you tend to be?
Second Superior.
So I'd like to direct your attention, if I could, to February 26th of 2024. Did you work that day?
Yes, I did.
And there was, if I'm not mistaken, a hearing in the Kearney case, was there not?
Yes, there was.
And did you have a particular assignment on that day?
Yes, I was ordered to go upstairs and be a part of the hearing and just be there. There's a witness that's going in.
Just listen to the question, just answer that question and wait for the next one.
And while you were in that hearing, did you have a particular responsibility?
I did actually.
What was that?
I was to be with the victim and the victim advocate. The victim, I'm not sure her name.
All right. And when were you told that that was something you need to do?
I was ordered by my chief and the victim and the victim advocate was coming in the door. First of all,
Okay. So your chief, that would be
Chief Rose.
Chief Rose, contacts you in some way and tells you to meet with or do what with respect to the victim and the victim advocate?
Just to be with the victim and the victim advocate, just in case. I think his last name, his first name is Aidan, comes in.
Let me back up a little.
Wait a minute. Hold on here. That's interesting. So somebody called in and told this court staff that be near this victim and victim advocate just in case Aidan shows up. That's strange.
And did you subsequently learn that the name of the person that you were speaking about came in with the victim advocate is Lindsay Kearney?
Correct.
So when you were ordered to do,
How is she a victim in the Karen Reed case? How the fuck is Lindsay a victim in a Karen Reed hearing? And who told you? So this Rose person was forewarned? Huh. Now, yeah, that's interesting. That now, no spoilers, but the defense, this was a conspiracy, and here she is saying, "Yeah, I was told to protect the victim." Lindsay's not a victim in that hearing. So who told you? So, and then told, watch out for Aidan? Jesus. Yeah, that shows a setup.
that, you go somewhere?
I went to the second floor to the main session where I was going to go.
All right. Were you downstairs?
So I was downstairs on the first floor at the entry door. And then I just walked upstairs as I was ordered to go to the second floor to just be in the presence.
When you were downstairs, did you see Mrs. Kearney and the victim advocate come in?
Yes, I did, sir.
So they came in. Could we have, I think it's number 9 again. Steps. You saw them come in at that point?
Yes, sir. I was actually standing at that desk.
At the desk on the far right?
On the far right, yes, sir.
So They came in and did they go somewhere?
They went directly upstairs and I went right behind them.
Okay. Were they alone or were they part of the group?
But I can remember just the victim and the victim advocate.
Okay.
Sorry.
Jesus.
So they went upstairs. And let me interrupt this at this point to ask you if you're familiar with the gentleman named Aidan Kearney.
I am.
And, how did you become familiar with Mr. Kearney so that you know who he is?
He's a lawyer and he's had at least 3 or 4 cases and motions that have been into actually been part of the Department of Opportunity.
And was one of those motions that you were present for, I take it?
Yes, I was, sir.
Was one of those motions over here in the district court?
Yes, it was, sir.
And what was that?
The 209A restraining order, that was a motion hearing.
All right. And was that a hearing with respect to whether the motion would be granted, or was it something?
Can I see counsel, please?
Yeah, that has nothing to do with this case.
Folks, quiet please, let President Hughes talk.
That has absolutely nothing to do with this case. That is them trying to backdoor in something about the Karen Reed case. That's not this case. Of course, but of course they try. Of course they try.
Did you also see Mrs. Kearney on the day of question, the day of hearing at Prosecution Court?
I did.
And do you recall where Mr. Kearney was himself?
Mr. Kearney was coming in the main session on the second
And yeah, you can't go down that avenue, thought face.
floor. He came in and he sat down on the right-hand side on the first bench closest to the wall.
And did you observe what happened with respect to Mr. Kearney after that?
When I turned around, I saw him leaving the courtroom.
And how long did you stay in the
Fucking
courtroom?
3 minutes.
Did you observe anybody speak to Mr. Kearney before you left?
No, I did not.
Did you also see, let's go back to Mr. Kearney. You said follow her upstairs. Did she enter the courtroom?
She did with witness advocate.
Fine. And what do you remember that being in terms of time with respect to Mr. Kearney's entrance? Or do you remember?
I don't know.
Fine. Do you recall whether Mr. Kearney got up and left the courtroom before or after Mr. Kearney's entrance?
It was after.
You could have a moment in there.
But this witness actually shows there was
The conclusion of the
conspiracy.
hearing, were you still keeping an eye, so to speak, on Mr. Kearney?
Yes.
So what do you remember her doing at the conclusion of the hearing?
Just leaving. That's all I thought.
And how did she leave?
She left out the door. She came down the stairs and she went out the front door with the witness advocate.
And did you follow her?
I did not.
You did not. All right, thank you very much. Sure. You're welcome, Mr. Kearney.
Thank you. Yeah, Court. Thank you, Ms. Dunn. Good afternoon. When were you first asked to kind of try to recall these events?
A week ago?
A week ago. Okay, and so this was 227, what was it, 226, sorry, 24, right?
Yes.
So you were asked a week ago to recall the ins and outs of people at a court hearing over a year ago.
Correct.
Okay. Is it fair to say that it's not the most clear thing in your mind about exactly the comings and goings of everyone?
Civilians, yes. But defendants and plaintiffs, if it's a regular basis, I'm very aware.
So can we agree that it's like you remember a little bit of it, but probably not everything exactly right?
Exactly.
Okay. Do you recall if you were in the courtroom when Ms. Yatani kind of made her entrance?
I don't recall. I know that I was not in the courtroom. I was downstairs.
She had a piece of paper with her, didn't she?
She had papers with her, but I didn't see what they were.
All right. Were you with her downstairs in the first floor near the metal detectors at all?
No, when she came past the medical detector to go upstairs, is when I was
Where did you first encounter her?
at the brown desk on the right-hand side of the corner on the first floor, right in the front lobby.
Okay, so that's pretty near the metal detectors,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Had she come in through the metal detectors?
Yes, you did.
All right, and was that when, were you there pursuant to Officer Rose, Chief Rose saying, wait here for her and meet her or something?
Exactly.
Okay. And what did you say about why you were doing that?
I voted to do that. That's my chief.
Did you say something about in case Aidan comes in?
Exactly.
Who told you that?
What do you mean? Who told me? No one told me.
Well, didn't Chief Rose say to you?
He said if Aidan comes in, or his last name Kearney, just go upstairs just in case.
Okay. So the way everything unfolded, wasn't it true that Mr. Kearney had already come in and been sitting in the courtroom?
I don't recall that.
So you meet up with Ms. Yatani, right? Down on the first floor.
Yes.
And she's with a group of people, isn't she?
I don't recall that.
She's with some people from the O'Keefe family and the McCabe family, isn't she?
I don't recall that.
Oh, here comes cross amnesia. state witnesses have this ability that when prosecution asks questions, perfect recollection. Cross-examination, I don't know. Yeah.
So you go upstairs with her, and you go up that big marble staircase, right?
Right.
Circle around, and isn't it true that there's a group of people congregating, waiting, and kind of filing into the courtroom?
I don't recall that.
What would you say? What do you recall about who was in the second floor lobby outside this first session in that second floor lobby area?
I really don't recall a lot of people being there because I just was bringing her up. She was upstairs. I was one right behind her, and the session was actually getting ready to start. So everyone's in the courtroom.
Was there also a court officer that was kind of stationed at the door, sort of helping to filter everybody in?
I don't recall that neither.
Now, let's think about that. So this is a hearing in the Kearney case. It's a very closely watched case. We agree with that, right? We agree on that?
Yeah.
And people want to get into that courtroom, right? And the courtroom's getting full, right?
Yes.
So don't you think that there was probably a court officer right at the door monitoring who's coming in and where to sit? And that kind of way?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Ms. Gattani was right next to Jennifer McCabe, wasn't she?
Sorry, I do not know.
And Ms. McCabe told Ms. Gattani, tell them you're part of the O'Keefe family, didn't she?
I can't recall all that.
And Ms. Gattani said just that to the court officer that was stationed at the door, didn't she?
Did she say to me?
I'm sorry?
Ooh, another one of these cut-ins from whoever edited this video. There they all are. And this witness, I have no recollection of this. Jesus Christ. Again, huge props for who made this video that was uploaded to Turtleboy's YouTube page yesterday. Huge props for helping us see what actually went down.
Just that to the court officer that was stationed at the door, didn't she?
Did she say to me?
I'm sorry?
Did she say that to me is what I'm asking?
No, I'm asking.
So then I can't recall something that someone else said to another officer.
Okay. So you were.
Oh, fuck you. Oh, I can't recall what somebody said to another officer. I can bet money if the prosecution wanted you to remember it, you would remember it. Oh, by the way, welcome to my show. If you don't like profanity, curse word, and snark, yeah, you have to live with it.
With Ms. Gattani at that threshold of that first session door, weren't you?
I was, but it was so quick. She went in and I was there.
Ms. Gattani said words to the effect to that court officer, just like we have a court officer here at the door. I'm with the O'Keefe family. Didn't you?
Objection.
I don't recall that.
Let's just see his next question.
Did you go into the courtroom with Ms. Gattani?
I did.
Up until this point, did you have any discussions at all about a restraining order?
No, that's not my place.
Why were you on the lookout for Mr. Kearney?
Because I knew that there was a restraining order.
Okay. How did you learn?
How the fuck did you know there was a restraining order if you're just a court officer? How would you know that? And how would you know to have a lookout of Aidan if nobody told you? I mean, this is so. I mean, this is so. Oh, this is so ridiculous, Miss. I don't care what your name is. You were told by somebody. This is my opinion here. You were told by somebody, hey, this person is coming to court. She has a restraining order for Aidan. Keep a lookout for Aidan. But now she can't remember it.
I was in the session when there was one.
So you just happen to know from your prior involvement with Mr. Kearney?
Exactly.
And
Oh, bullshit.
when you came into the court room, had you had any discussions at all with her about this order and about what she wanted to have happen?
Other than keeping him away, I don't think I don't recall a conversation with her.
Did you know Mr. Kearney was in there when you were walking Gattani in?
Again, I don't recall him being there. I saw him come in the courtroom and sit down. I don't recall him being in the courtroom when I walked in with her.
So your memory is that Mr. Kearney came in after Ms. Gattani? Okay, I will leave that.
Quiet, please.
So do you remember Ms. Gattani walking in?
Yes.
And where did she go?
She went to the front. She sat on the right-hand side, I think the third row at the front.
And she was in there with the O'Keefe family and the McCabe's, wasn't she?
I can't speak to that. I know who I saw her with, and that was the victim that I met.
No, I'm saying when she sat down, she sat in a crowded area, didn't she?
She did.
Just like this, right?
No, she did.
And
But I
she's-
wasn't aware of anyone's faces. That's what you're asking me. No, I just know she sat down with the people that she knew.
Well, do you know the O'Keefe family from?
I do now.
Just for the record, let me finish the question, and then you can answer all you want. Do you know who the O'Keefe family is from these proceedings?
I do it now, sir.
Did you know them?
Yeah.
Do you know the McCabe's? Ms. Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe?
No.
How about the Alberts? Know the Alberts?
No.
Chris Albert, Brian Albert, Colin Albert. Do you know any of them?
No, sir.
So, can you say that whether or not she walked in and sat with the O'Keefes at least?
What I can tell you is that she came in with the victim advocate, and she sat down alongside the victim advocate, and a group of other people were sitting on the bench. I cannot tell you who's the name.
Why the fuck would she need a victim's advocate in a hearing that's not about her?
These folks were.
Who was the victim advocate?
Nancy.
Do you know her full name?
I do not, sir.
And can you give us a description of her?
Short. She has a short haircut.
Have you seen her here today?
I haven't seen her now.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you some pictures. Judge, these are still photos of that video, so I'm going to just go ahead and do that.
No objection.
And thank you to Film Freak for gifting 5 memberships.
Can you get on
It went to Jinx. It went to Nicky C. To Turnips. It went to Unindicted Co-Conspirator. And to Bridget. Yay! You now also have access to all my members-only content. You have access to your own emojis here on YouTube. And if you go to my page on YouTube, you will find a link to my Discord. Yay! Thank you so much, Film Freak. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very, very much.
Do you see that photograph, Ethan?
I see it.
Can you tell whether or not that's a picture of Ms. Katani right at the door there?
From what I see, yeah, color, size, but I can't see her face, sir.
All right, does that refresh your memory at all about whether or not that's her and that's what she looked like that day, et cetera?
I can't confirm or deny that is her.
Okay. And how about the lady on the left where we see her face there? Do you recognize her at all?
No, I do not, sir.
How about the gentleman at the very corner of the photograph? Do you recognize that face at all?
I do not, sir.
Do you see kind of in the crack of the door there? You see that there's a court officer right there?
I see a white shirt, sir.
Can we agree or can you infer with me that that's a court officer?
I cannot confirm that, sir.
Okay, you just want to be careful?
It's not about careful, sir. I see no badge, so I cannot confirm, sir.
Okay, very good. And we have the next photograph, please. And do you see this photograph of the courtroom?
Yes, I do, sir.
And can you ascertain from the photograph that that's a photograph of the 226 hearing that we're talking about?
If that's what you say, sir. I cannot confirm that.
It doesn't work that way. Your answer can be yes or no, or you're not sure.
I'm not sure.
That's perfectly fine. Okay. Just for purposes of identification right now, Judge.
Uh-oh, Judge is getting annoyed. That's not a good sign.
I may. Do you see in the front left, second bench back? Do you see Ms. Katani there?
I cannot. Can you zoom in,
Sure,
sir?
I'll just go up and direct your attention to where I'm asking. Do you see this lady right here?
Yes,
Is that Ms. Katani?
yes,
She's in the second row of that photograph.
yes.
And do you see Mr. Kearney in that photograph?
I do not, sir.
If I invite your attention, right here. Do you see that?
Standing up, yes.
Can you see him?
Yes, sir.
So she's already seated and he's walking out in this photograph, whatever this is, right?
Yes, sir.
You're not in that photograph. Are you?
I am not.
Nothing further, thank you.
Nothing on regret. Thank you very much. Witness be excused.
Again, whoever edited the video that is now on Aidan's page, YouTube, excellent editing. Excellent editing. Yeah, so what did we learn from this witness? Well, somebody told her, hey, Miss Kaitani is going to be in the courthouse watching this hearing. She has a restraining order for Mr. Aidan, and you need to be on the lookout for Mr. Aidan. Why does anybody need to be forewarned when it's not? This is a Karen Reed hearing. It's not about Aidan. It's not about whatever she. I don't care what her name is. Why were there need for any forewarning? That's the conspiracy. People cooperating to reach a certain result. That's the conspiracy. And the state's second witness shows it. Oh, this is so bad.
Megan Mallon, please. Megan Mallon.
Please solemnly swear and affirm
Both quiet, please.
the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I just wait.
Good afternoon. Can you introduce yourself to the court, please?
Sure, I'm Megan Mellon.
And I have to ask you to spell your last name for the record, if you will.
Sure, it's Mellon, M-A-L-L-O-N.
Actually, I'm aware there's a couple of different ways to spell Megan, so can you spell your first name as well?
M-E-A-G-H-A-N.
Thank you very much. Ms. Mallon,
Oh. So this is her. Again, excellent editing. This brings great context about who is this witness, to whom it may concern, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So this is a person who, in her heart of hearts, believed that Karen Reed defied physics. This seems to be a person who doesn't believe in medical science. This is a person who is... I give this challenge to anybody. Oh, this happened in the Karen Reed backed up and hit him or sideswiped or clipped him or whatever. Prove physics wrong. Find somewhere, start flapping your bingo wings, and take off. Because if you don't believe in physics, you should be able to fly. So get on with it. Flap the bingo wings and whee. I have no takers this far on that challenge.
Floyd,
Yes,
can you tell us what's the work?
I'm an event producer, so we produce large-scale corporate events.
And are you married, single, what's your status?
I am married with one child.
And I want to direct your attention to February 26th of 20.
Is this Matt McCabe's sister? Yeah, I don't... In my coverage, you will learn that most of the time, I really don't care who the people are. Most of the time. Some I do care about. Some I don't even learn the names of. I give nicknames. Miss Bingo Wings 2007. Please continue.
24. Did you have plans to go anywhere that day?
Yes,
And where were you planning to go?
I was headed to the Norfolk Superior Court to attend a hearing with my family.
And when you say with your family, who in your family in particular?
My brother, my sister-in-law, my aunts, cousins, another brother, extended family.
Okay, and then can you tell us the names?
Sure, I was with my brother Colin McCabe, my aunt, Kathy Bachner, my other brother Matt McCabe, his wife Jennifer McCabe, two cousins, Shannon and Kristen, and then some other friends that were part of a bigger group.
And did you have a particular purpose in attending this hearing?
Yeah, we were there to support for the OP family and as well as be there for my brother and sister-in-law as well.
And was there a plan to meet someone?
Yep, we met in the back parking lot behind the registry team. That's what we typically did.
And did you know then, or did you subsequently meet a woman named Lindsay?
I was introduced to her that day, yes.
So you didn't previously know her?
I knew of her, I did not know her personally.
Were you expecting her to be there, or was it a surprise, so to speak?
I can't recall, I don't know how the plans came to be, there was a lot of us.
So after you met her in the, after you met the group in the back parking lot, what happened?
We headed towards the entry Superior Court, we all walked together in a group.
All right, so that would be up past the Registry of Deeds building?
Yep, we crossed the crosswalk and went up the handicap.
And when you engaged in that crossing, was the street empty of people, or were it closed down?
I mean, the street was empty for cars, but there was a seat, there were tons of people everywhere.
Okay, Can you describe generally the scene?
A lot of yelling, screaming, perfect strangers, people I've never seen before, just screaming at us across the street, young murderers. It was beyond anything that I've ever witnessed before in my life. It was really bad.
But you crossed the street as a group.
Yep.
And then, how did you get into the courthouse when you went across the street?
We walked up the handicap ramp, and at that point we were told to wait to go through the metal detector.
Who told you that? Courthouse?
Yeah, when we were upstairs.
So what happened then?
Then they let our group come in and proceed up the stairs to the courtroom on the second floor.
Now, at that point, you did introduce to Ms. Katani, was she in the group?
She was not anywhere near me when we entered out.
Was she with others in the group?
I can't recall.
Fine. So you came in, did you go through a metal detector?
Went to the metal detector and then proceeded up to the stairs outside the courtroom. There was jam-packed. It was like shoulder to shoulder.
The stairs were jammed-packed and outside the courtroom?
Outside the courtroom, there were people standing on the stairs as well.
So when you got to the top of the stairs, did you go right into the courtroom?
No, we were held outside. They were letting everybody in to see something at the time.
Okay, so you were held outside. Is there anybody from the DA's office with you, or with the witness person?
Not this time.
I take it at some point you were admitted to the courtroom?
Yes,
Did you go in?
I went, yes.
Did you see?
Yes.
Where did you sit?
A couple rows back from the family on the right side.
At some point did you observe Mr. Kearney?
A quick vote in the chat. Do you think that she will answer every question from the defense during cross-examination, or do you think she will have a sudden case of cross-amnesia, the Canton brainworm? Press 1 for she's going to be absolutely forthcoming in cross-examination, or 2 if you believe there's going to be a lot of I don't recall.
She entered after, so I was already seated.
About how long after you did she enter, if you recall?
I don't recall.
Do you recall what she said?
She sat towards the front. I believe she walked in with the O'Keefe family and my brother Matt.
Now, are you familiar with a gentleman named Aidan Kearney?
Yes,
Were you familiar with him at the time?
yes.
And how are you familiar with Mr. Kearney?
It's a loaded question. He has been covering the Kearney trial from the start and has launched a harassment attack on my family.
So you've seen his various of his YouTube shows?
Yes.
And you knew what he looked like based on that?
Yes.
So did you see him in the courtroom on that day?
Yes.
Oh no, gender coach, you should never Google the words we give to people. If you don't know, you need to keep your innocence. Yuri Buchanan's nickname, do not Google that word. Do not Google that. You will be scarred for life. You will be scarred for life.
And do you recall his response?
I saw him outside the courtroom trying to get into the courtroom.
So where were you when you saw him outside?
I was at the top of the stairs,
And then where was he?
behind my group coming up the stairs.
So he's coming up the stairs. And what did you observe with that?
He was trying to get through a sea of people, but like I said, he was shoulder to shoulder. We were all shoulder to shoulder, and there was no place for anybody to move.
At some point later on, did you see him enter the courtroom?
Yes,
And do you recall if that was before you or after you saw him?
before.
And when he entered the courtroom, do you know if he came alone or did you notice anybody with him?
I didn't. I wasn't paying attention that closely.
And did you see where he sat?
Yes, he was kind of he was on the left side, kind of diagonal to where I was seated.
And at some point, did you see him move from where you see him?
Yes.
And tell us what you observed.
Maybe a moment after Lindsay entered the courtroom, he stood up, said something, and then he left.
Could you tell what he said?
Word for word, no, but it was along the lines of "she's here" and stormed out.
So he got up at that point and headed to the
Yes.
So go out the door.
Yes.
So after Mr. Kearney left, did you stay for the entire session?
Yes.
And how long was the session through?
I believe it was only about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. It wasn't a long day, from what I recall.
And at the conclusion of the session, what did you do?
We walked out of court together. We all gathered together our rows and left in a group and walked out the same way we walked in.
And when you say we, that's the people you walked in?
Yeah.
And this time was Mr. Kearney in your group?
Yes, she was right in front of me.
And how did you leave the courthouse building?
We walked out the main door and then we walked out to the right back down the handicap ramp because the stairs were full of people.
Now, let me ask you this, did you have your cell phone?
I did.
At some point, did you make a decision to do something with your cell phone?
Yes, I decided to record based on our experience walking in and how chaotic and loud it was, and watching everybody filming us, I decided that I would turn my camera on.
So at what point did you turn your camera on?
Right when we got to the bottom of the stairs and I could hear the yelling, I started recording. So we're still inside the entryway, about to exit.
Fine. And by the way, do you remember who was behind you when walking in?
I don't. I believe my brother Colin was. Maybe my aunt was right behind me.
Do you have a specific memory of Colin being behind you?
Yes, because he wanted all of us to go first.
Okay.
Being gentlemen.
So you're walking out, you have your camera, and what is it you're trying to record?
The crowd, the mob of whatever they are.
And were you particularly looking for Mr. Kearney when you were making this
I was
report?
not.
So you weren't focused on trying to photograph him?
No.
You were trying to photograph the scene? So
Yes.
So you go out, and where do you go?
Yeah, sure, Miss Bingo Wings 2007. You were not at all trying to catch Aidan on video. Sure.
Walk down to the right, down the handicap rail, and the zigzags, and then walk back to the right, in between District and Superior, back down to the parking lot, behind the Pete's, or the street Pete's.
So you're walking out, Mrs. Kearney is in front of you.
Yes, at that point, coming down the rail, she was in front of me. I think we all kind of split up at that point, little pockets.
Do you remember how she was dressed?
Suit, maybe?
Do you remember she had a pocketbook with her?
I don't recall.
So you get to the bottom of the rail, where do you go from there?
We cross the street. We go right on the sidewalk in front of the Superior Court, and then cross the street.
Is there a crosswalk that
Yes.
you use to cross the street?
Yes,
And once you cross the street, where do you go from there?
down the side alley, into the back parking lot.
And what you described as the side alley, is that the alley or street between the District Court and where the street is?
Yes.
You know, those buildings?
Yes, correct.
Now, at some point, do you stop video?
Yes, about halfway down once the people left us alone.
And you say about halfway down.
Down the alleyway street.
Once you stop videoing, what do you do with that?
We headed to the back where we all had originally congregated, where cars were all parked together in a group.
Now, what happens next?
At that point, attention was drawn by several people to Lindsay's car, and it was declared that the car was damaged.
And did you observe the damage yourself?
Yes,
And what was the damage that
Cars have damage. The question is not was it damaged? Question is, did you see it getting damaged? What's the evidence? Anywhere. Which the prosecution here should be able to produce a picture of the car on that parking lot with an intact taillight. Somehow I don't think they have that.
I really can't recall. I know a key or something like that.
what happened?
I had advised to call the police, make a report, and then I left and headed back home.
Did you call the police? Did Lindsay call the police?
I
Or
did.
did you just suggest it?
I just suggested. I don't know who actually made the phone call.
Were you there when the phone call was made? That's something.
I have no idea.
Don't recall. But were you there at the point that the police officer arrived?
I can't recall.
So at that point you go home. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You're.
Go ahead, Mr. Carter.
Still something. Your Honor, at this point, I'd like to play the video that is Alan.
Take no objection, Mr. Carter.
No objection, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It would help if I told I believe this is 4 we want to play. My apologies, Mr. Rocky, I'm slipping the switch.
there they are, walking out, walking towards. I don't see any. I mean, remember how they claimed they were shouting things at us, directly at us, at some points in time before and during the first trial. No, because no matter how important you believe you are, Miss Bingo Wings 2007, nobody cares about you.
Man.
At some point, did you do some further work with the video and took the images off?
Meaning, I don't understand the question. I sent it.
Did you view the video?
I did, yes.
And were you able to identify in that video Mr. Kearney in various spots?
Yes.
Objection. Speaks for itself, Your Honor.
Subject to cross-examination.
And what I'd like to do with this point, Ms. Crawford, if you can slow play the video, and I'm going to indicate where I have this now and indicate various points where I'd like you to stop. This is going to depend on my acuity in picking those points up, so we may be a little rough.
I'm sorry, just a pledge, objection, Your Honor, the pledge case PLEAS for the record. The witness ought not to be allowed to narrate the video. The video speaks for itself, just for the record.
I'm not looking for, there's going to be no narration. It can be a question and an answer.
Stop. All right. Rather hard to see at this distance, but can you tell us whether or not you see Mr. Kearney anywhere in the shot?
I'm having a hard time seeing it from here, but it's at the corner of the column.
Objection, motion straight.
Objection overruled.
And at this point, show you this, and ask if you can identify that as an image from your video.
Yes.
There is no way. Well, this is clearly after the fact. Actively looking for, because I bet if you blew up that picture, it would be so pixelated that it's no chance in hell you could identify anyone at that distance. Anyone.
See Mr. Kearney somewhere in that image.
Yes.
And where do you see it? All right. Can you take a marker, please, and just circle where you see Mr. Kearney? Or draw an arrow, something with a bigger piece. Does this photo fairly and accurately represent what you see in the video?
It's paused at a different spot, I guess.
No, just see what you see.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge, foundation, authenticity.
Appreciate your objection.
Thank you.
That's the next
Thank you.
Hold on. You can actually state the reason of your objection in the same jurisdiction as Judge Bev. You're allowed to object and state the reason of your objection. Judge Bev, I thought you said that's not how you do it in Massachusetts. It seems like, yes, you do. It's just you being a C word.
All right, can we continue? Stop. Continue.
All right. This is funny because Jinx has been here before, and he knows when I'm covering trials, I have a sidebar counter. So every once in a while, this shows up when I'm covering trials, because and it's just sometimes trials drag on. It's a bit boring. So just I do stuff to entertain sometimes. It would be so funny if she is pointing to the wrong person.
Stop. Back up a little.
Now, I have to say this when it comes to restraining orders, that most of the times, to avoid chance encounters being a huge issue, the person who seeks the RO says these are the addresses and places of employment, daycare, or whatever that in this case, Mr. Dr. Turtleboy is not allowed to go near. Everything else is chance encounters until you can prove that, in this case, Aidan was actively there to meet her. And this is just plain stupid. Aidan is covering the Karen retrial. He's going to be at the hearings. And the very fact that Aidan was there before her should have made the judge say, thrown out, fuck off, don't waste my time. But here they are.
No, I'm sorry, continue. Stop. Back up a bit. Yes, thank you. Do you see Mr. Kearney anywhere in that scene in front of you?
I do. He's hiding behind the tree.
Objection to the characterization. Motion is stricken.
Objection sustained.
Without describing, without characterizing it, just tell us where you see Mr. Kearney located.
You twat. He is standing still. You are the one walking. From that perspective, he's behind a tree. Go back 10 seconds, he's not behind a tree because this is from your perspective. Jesus Christ.
Right. He's to the left of the tree.
Let me show you this. Do you recognize that as a still from your video showing essentially approximately the same scene where Mr. Kearney is in the same location?
Yes.
Objection to the form of the question, Judge. Leading questions.
What do you recognize the photo to show?
It shows Mr. Kearney to the left of the tree.
It's fairly inaccurate to represent the still from your video.
Yes.
Judge, I'm just going to ask for continuing objections, so we're going to keep interrupting. Thank you.
Exhibit 7.
So,
Miss Bingo Wings 2007, can you hear yourself call out on this video? Oh, there's Turtleboy. Oh, there's Aidan. Everybody run and hide. It's the big 7'2", 500-pound Aidan Kearney. Everybody run. No, I don't think you said that on the video. No.
the risk of asking the audience is Mr. Kearney in the same position that he was earlier?
No.
So he's not on the steps.
And he's not on the steps right now in this study.
And as we are looking at this picture, what is the progress of your group? Has it been to the left? Has it been to the right? What direction have you moved?
If we're looking at the registry of deeds, we have moved to the right.
All right. And as you move to the right, and I'm filming this, Mr. Kearney is directly in front of you. Is that correct?
Correct.
And as you look at this picture, has Mr. Kearney moved to the left or to the right?
If looking at the Superior Court, he's moved to the left.
And then if looking at the registry of deeds, he's moved.
He's moving to the right.
And is that a different direction from the way you and Ms. Catani are moving, or is it the same direction?
It is the same direction.
Let's start again slowly if we can. All right. Do you see, Mr. Kearney, where the camera has stopped at this point?
Yes,
And where is he now?
he's still to the left of the tree.
And let me show you this photo. Is that a photo you've previously seen before?
Yes,
Okay. Does that photo fairly and accurately represent what's up there on the screen?
Yes.
Oh, it's a close-up?
yes,
And had you previously identified Mr. Kearney in that photo?
yes,
And is the location that I'm pointing to with the circle, is that where you are identifying Mr. Kearney?
yes, correct.
I offer.
Objection, Your Honor, it's duplicative, it's a close-up view, they weren't anywhere near this, it's already in evidence, and it's just made to make him look suspicious, so I object.
Objection overruled.
Exhibit 8.
And plus, Judge, just for the record, there's no depiction of where he is in relation to the plaintiff in the map.
All found in close.
All right, let's resume this profit if we could.
And if I haven't said it yet, thank you for being here. Thank you and welcome to my channel. I hope you like it here. If you do, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and if you continue, consider supporting my channel as well as you support Aidan.
Go forward a little, I think. Is that the end?
Hi, Biz.
Oh, quiet, please.
Cross-examination. Oh, I want to hear the. I know that he played this in 1.5 speed. I'm going to put it down to 0.75 here because I want to hear this cross-examination in closer to real time. If I can. No?
I just should have sentencing it down the stairs.
No, that.
You may step down and I'll just go outside.
That made the
This
sound
matter is going to be suspended until Wednesday, June 11th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Parties are all set for today.
Oh.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
And here they are back. So yeah, they have spliced together all the trial days. They have spliced together all the trial days in this 5.5 hour video. For you who just joined, I'm cutting this up in 3 streams. This one today for another 20 minutes or so. Tomorrow, another 2 hours. And then the rest of it for Friday for my slightly buzzed Friday law stream. So where you can watch me, have a beer, you can bring your beverage of choice, and yeah, let's have fun together watching this because, well, I won't give spoilers, but it's not a bad result. This trial does not end bad.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear in the matter now in hearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
So, Ms. Allen, yesterday you identified for us a video that was played.
For absolutely no apparent reason, I want to see these few seconds again.
So, Ms. Allen, yesterday you identified for us a video that was played in the court. At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to offer the video as exhibit.
That'll be exhibit 9, I believe.
Which video? I'm sorry, I was just distracted from the last one. No objection. Thank you.
Exhibit 9.
So Ms. Allen, I think you testified yesterday that after you left the courthouse, across the street at the crosswalk in front of the district court, the company of the people that you were with, he started walking down that street between Registry of Deeds building and the district court towards the parking lot. Is that correct?
Yes, but I testified to that on Monday, not yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday.
Yes,
Sorry.
thank you. I'm glad I'm having fun with this.
Yes.
So, as you were walking down the street, do you recall that you were towards the district court, towards the Registry of Deeds, right in the middle, about where were you?
I was in the middle of the street, more towards the left on the Registry of Deeds side.
And where was Mr. Kearney at that time?
At that point, we had kind of broken up into smaller clusters of people. She was off to my right with another group, 5 or 6.
So she was somewhat to the right of you.
Yes, she was in front of me coming down to that location, but then as we crossed the street, we all kind of got a little separated, maybe by about 5 or 6 feet. So she was off to my right in another group.
Now, did you have occasion, Ms. Mallon, to Google Earth to find a photograph of the local county superior court and the Registry of Deeds?
Yes, I put all of the entire map of the area in Google Maps and put it on the satellite version so I could get the zoom in of the locations.
And let me show you.
Yes,
Is this one of the things that you produced?
yes.
And what do you see in that picture in terms of structures and the streets?
I see the Superior Court, and then directly across the street, I see the Registry of Deeds. I drew a red line showing where the entrance, where we were exiting from in the Superior Court to the location of where I noticed the defendant to be standing across the street. So there's a red line indicating that.
And how do you draw a red line to indicate that?
I took a screenshot and then put the red line in it.
And how do you put the red line in front? Is my question.
I just hit on a button.
What's the process that you use?
I don't know, it's kind of like have a screenshot, put the text edit tool on and draw a red line.
Huh. Is this the diagram you created of the photo?
Yes. Yeah, so this is the correct way to.
Does that show where you were on the front steps of the Norfolk Superior Court and where you know this was occurring?
Rough, not an exact approximate.
Right.
It's always do you know what's interesting here? That map wasn't shown by the prosecution. That's interesting here. It's always interesting when the defense are using the witness's own things. Because that's always interesting. Always interesting. So we're going to watch this cross-examination, and then I'm going to let you all go. I will find another stream to redirect you to, and then we will reconvene here tomorrow, roughly at the same time. Let's say 2-ish, 1:30, 2-ish, something of the sort. I will put up a new stream for you to look for it, and to, as I said, 3 parts. 1 today, 1 tomorrow, 1 Friday. Thursday, I will go back and more about the Michigan case that I've been started covering. It's the hyperbaric explosion case where a 5-year-old was in a hyperbaric chamber filled with 100% oxygen, and due to bad maintenance and budget reason and greed, it wasn't maintained properly, and the spark made the thing explode, and that poor 5-year-old was burnt inside out. That happened in March of this year, and they have had a bunch of hearings about it. I've had one video out a few days ago about the 2 first hearings, when they first was arraigned, and then bond hearing, and then I'm going to now on Thursday I'm going to check the latest hearing from 3 weeks ago. But this case here, the Aidan Kearney trial, today, Wednesday, and Friday.
I would offer that, Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor. Grounds? Foundation authentication, it has feet markers on it, hearsay.
Well, the good news is it's no jury here, so I'll allow it in. and to whatever weight is be subject to
Yeah,
cross-examination.
there's no jury. There's no jury.
And could we just, I don't know if it's necessary at this point, but we just did 24 up on the screen. And that's the photo, it's just accepted as an exhibit.
Yes, correct.
Now,
How about that? 102.91 feet. How about that?
as you were walking down the street away from the Norfolk Superior Court and in the direction of the Devon District Court, did you observe any movement by Mr. Kearney?
So not at the moment in the video that I watched back later. I did.
So you didn't notice that it's going to be self-questioned?
Yes, correct.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that then. I have no further questions of this witness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Redirect. Or
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
So your last answer there was that you didn't notice Mr. Kearney until you looked at the video later on, right?
I did not notice the movement. I noticed him standing at the registry of deeds when we walked out, but then wasn't too concerned about where he was. I was more concerned about the mob that was screaming at us, that I wasn't focusing on where he was. But when I watched the video back later,
You just listen to the question, answer it, and then just wait for the victim.
okay,
So the answer is you didn't notice him moving. You looked at the video later on and figured things out, right?
yes, correct.
And that's what this whole
all right. I just passed 18,000 subscribers. Wow. In a matter of a week, I gained some 1,500 subscribers. Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Keep it going.
case is, isn't it? Everybody in your group, including Ms. Katani, had no idea he was there until later on when you looked at the video and then reverse engineered this whole thing, right?
Objection.
The fact is, nobody noticed Mr. Kearney, to your knowledge, when you got back to the parking lot of the registry of deeds. Isn't that right?
Objection.
Sustain this to the form of the question.
No one communicated to you anything about seeing Mr. Kearney, did they, when you got back to the registry of deeds parking lot?
Objection.
So there was other people saying they saw him. I did not see him, so I can only speak to that.
So who said they saw him?
I don't know.
You don't know who it was.
No, there was multiple people in our group.
You answered the question, you don't know who it was. Next question.
Who were the people that were with you in your crowd?
My brother Colin,
Did Colin say you saw him?
yes, he did.
So that's one that now you know that said it.
Yes.
And what did he say?
Objection.
I think Turtleboy was up on the corner
I think Turtleboy was up in the corner. Okay. Who did he say it to?
to the group.
Who's in the group?
Myself, my aunt, a couple cousins.
Can you give us names?
Sure. My auntie Kathy. Do you want last names as well?
Yes.
Okay. My aunt Kathy Faulkner, Shannon Sullivan, my brother Colin McCabe, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, some extended family on Jennifer's side that I don't know all their first names.
How about Lindsay Katani?
She was in a group, yes.
What'd she say when you said it?
I wasn't speaking to her at that moment.
So the answer is she didn't say anything?
I don't know if she said anything.
So you knew she had a restraining order on Mr. Kearney, right?
Yes, I was aware.
In fact, that was the whole purpose of you and your group bringing her to this hearing, wasn't it?
We
Objection.
did not.
So let's unpack that a little bit. So you said on direct examination that you were going to gather in the rear registry parking lot, right, when you got there?
Correct.
That was the plan among you and all of your folks you were going to bring, right?
Correct.
And you said that you were going to meet someone there, right?
We were all meeting together.
And you knew that you were going to be meeting Lindsay Katani there, correct?
I did not know Lindsay Katani was coming.
And when you got there, she was there, wasn't she?
She arrived after.
Did you talk to her?
I believe we introduced ourselves.
And do you know who invited her there?
I did not.
Do you know how she came to know to congregate with you and your group in the back parking lot?
I did not.
So you get there and you don't know anything about Lindsay Katani or why she's there or what's going on, say testimony?
Correct.
So you're there with Colin McCabe, correct?
Correct.
And you're there with who else?
Matthew McCabe, Jennifer McCabe. I said my aunt, my cousin, extended family from Jennifer's side. I believe some friends were in that group. It's honestly hard to think back to exactly who was there.
Okay, so we're gonna stay with when you got back from the hearing, okay? And you say the hearing was an hour, right?
I believe it was around an hour, maybe two.
Wasn't it really just 10 minutes?
I honestly don't know. It
You don't
felt like it.
remember?
I don't.
So your memory is pretty selective from that day, isn't that a fair statement?
Objection.
Objection sustained as to the form of that question.
You're having difficulty remembering everything about that day, aren't you?
Not the logistics, but I think these little details of how long things were.
You're remembering just enough to hold Mr. Kearney accountable, right?
Objection.
So those are your words, right? You've said in the past that you want to hold Aidan Kearney accountable for everything he's doing in the Kearney case, right?
Yes, correct.
And that's your state of mind, is that you want to get him if you can, right?
In this situation, I feel that the law is a law, and so there is
I'm
no,
asking what your state of mind is. You want to get him, don't you, if you can?
I want to abide by the law, and if
Oh,
laws are broken,
bullshit.
and I had the video, then I'm going to share it.
So let's talk about accountability. You wanted to have him be held accountable for all of his reporting and criticisms and such, right?
Yes, I believe you should.
And on this date, you and your group had just walked by, and you say you saw Mr. Kearney, or some people saw Mr. Kearney, and yet no one held him accountable right then and there, did they?
Objection.
Overruled. If the witness can understand the question, answer it. If you don't understand it, you can say, I don't understand it.
So, can I describe what?
No one
Ask the question again.
No one held Aidan Kearney accountable at 2:10, 2:15 p.m. on 2/26 when you had the chance, supposedly, right?
I don't know.
Nobody called the police about a restraining order violation, did they?
I don't know.
Everybody was worried about her minivan, right?
That's where the attention was drawn.
No one called 911 about Aidan Kearney.
I don't know.
To your knowledge, nobody did, right?
To my knowledge,
You haven't seen anything of the sort in your prep with Mr. Cosgrove, have you?
Nope, I do not know.
And when you were there, everyone was worried about some damage to her car, right?
At that moment, yes.
And she claims that she had a smashed rear taillight, isn't that right?
I don't recall the damage.
Did you see a smashed rear taillight?
I believe I saw a key mark.
Okay, so a scratch on the car.
Yes,
So you saw a scratch on her minivan, right?
yes.
And that's what,
The entire Karen Reed trial was about a smashed taillight, and you claim to not remember if there was a smashed taillight. Yeah, no.
the focus was, right?
It became a focus, yes.
No one was talking about, hey, wait a minute, he's over there, Aidan Kearney's over there, that's a violation, let's get him accountable. Nobody discussed that in your presence, right?
Not my presence, no.
And you never said in your video, hey, there's Aidan Kearney, hey, there's Turtleboy. No. Weird. It's almost as if you didn't know he was there. Funny thing, isn't it?
You didn't hear anyone when you walked by yelling liar, liar, did you?
I heard multiple people yelling a lot of things.
Excuse me, you just have to listen to his question and answer it as you can.
Okay. I don't know.
So you don't know, you either know or you don't. I mean, did you
I
hear it
can't
or not?
recall.
You don't recall hearing it? So can we say that's no, or do you think it might happen?
It could have happened.
Could happen, but you have no information on it, do you?
I do not.
And you're up there videoing every inch of that scene, aren't you?
I'm videoing the entire scene, the entirety. Yes,
And you have no information for this court that Aidan Kearney or anyone else was yelling liar, liar, correct?
I do not.
When Ms. Catani met you in a group at the registry parking lot before you went into the hearing, did Ms. Catani have her restraining order in her hand?
I do not know.
Ms. Catani arranged so that somebody in your group would call the advocate in the case, correct?
I'm not aware.
You walked in with Ms. Catani and all of your other family and friends, correct?
Miss Katani was not in our group that walked in.
Where was she?
She was behind with another group.
She was in the middle of the group as you entered the fucking courtroom. We saw the picture. We saw the picture. Jesus Christ. These are such... These people believe our words, not your lying eyes. It's infuriating.
With people.
So then you came into the building, correct?
Yes.
Who did you come in with?
I came in with some of Jennifer's extended family, my brother Colin, my aunt, my cousin, and we came in together.
Did you go up the stairs?
No, we came up the wheelchair ramp.
I'm sorry, I mean in the building, did you go up the stairs at the second floor?
Yes, correct.
Were you with Jennifer McCabe?
Nope.
Were you with Ms. Catani?
No.
Can you say whether you went in before Ms. Catani or after Ms. Catani into the courtroom itself?
I went in before.
You went in before her? So did you see her go in after you?
Yes.
What happened when she came into the courtroom?
She walked in and took a seat a few rows in front of me, and your client stood up and left, said something along, she's here, and walked out.
And who was he facing when he said that? Was he facing Ms. Catani or was he facing the other?
I think he was talking to somebody he was sitting with.
And did you hear him say anything else at all?
No.
Where did Ms. Catani go when she came in and said that?
A few rows in front of me. I was probably the second to last row back.
Is it fair to say that she was with the O'Keefe family when she sat there?
Yes.
Did you hear Jennifer McCabe say to Ms. Catani prior to them entering the courtroom, just say you're with the O'Keefe family?
I did not.
Objection.
Grounds?
Hearsay.
Well, it's not being offered for the truth of the matter, sir. It's being offered, first of all, witnesses never, among other things, overruled.
When Ms.
Sorry,
Catani,
did you answer that
Yes,
question?
I did not.
Thank you.
when Ms. Catani went into the room and sat down, it's fair to say that Mr. Kearney and another young woman got up on their own and left very quickly. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Nobody had to tell them to leave or anybody had to grab them or usher them out, right?
I do not recall. I don't think so.
So you've introduced a number of still shots, or I should say the prosecution through you has introduced a number of still shots, a number of videos, correct?
Yes, correct.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
One video that was accompanied with the still shots.
And in none of these photographs, none of these videos, does it show both Mr. Kearney and Ms. Catani at the same time.
Correct.
So it's fair to say that Ms. Catani came to this hearing, you had just met her, yes?
Yes.
You saw her come into the courtroom where Mr. Kearney was already situated, correct?
Yes, correct.
Mr. Kearney immediately got up and left, correct?
Correct.
So she goes to him, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
Then, outside, when the hearing's over, you and Ms. Catani and everybody else leave, and once again, you're going to where Mr. Kearney is, isn't that right?
No, that's incorrect.
That's not physically true that you are going to where Mr. Kearney is?
We were not going to registry of deeds. We were going to our cars in the parking lot.
So what you're saying is you were not anywhere near him in any relevant type of a material way, were you?
Objection. I don't know the relevance and material.
Oh, she walked right into that one. Oh, she walked right into that one.
It's-
You have to be argued. Objection sustained. I understand the question, but let's move on.
Sure. So you walk out and you make a right and you walk down towards Denner Center, right?
I'm not familiar with the area. We walked to the right of the.
Let's try it this way. You walk towards this building from Superior Court.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So you're walking away from where Mr. Kearney is, right?
Yes, correct.
And Ms. Catani is walking away from where Mr. Kearney is, right?
Correct.
So even if you were to have seen her, she is extracting herself from the area, isn't she?
Yes.
And then you make a left and you go towards the registry parking lot, correct?
Correct.
And you start to continue to extract yourself from Mr. Kearney's location, right?
Correct.
Remember, folks, this is the state's witness who is supposed to prove this violation. Let's see if there is any redirect here.
Nothing further.
Did you ever view the restraining order that was defended at?
I did not.
And at the time that you were walking along, someone mentioned Thomas Kearney. Did you know what the yardage requirement was for Ms. Catani's restraining order?
I did through somebody else, yes.
Thank you.
No request.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, folks, that was 2 hours of streaming, which took care of about an hour and a half of this hearing. We will continue with this tomorrow. I have no idea what witnesses there are, but I mean, this is so stupid. I mean, the first 2 out of 3 out of 4 witnesses for the state is more or less proving the conspiracy for the defense. This is insanity. But one of the things I believe is, why is the state doing this? Money. Well, they want to put him away, but they also know they have shit cases. One of the other reasons why they are doing this is to bankrupt Aidan Kearney. And that is why it is so important. Even though Aidan reached his initial goal, the Commonwealth will not stop. The Commonwealth will not stop. So look at the rolling banner here. That is Aidan's CashApp. That is Aidan's Give and Go. Those are also in the description of this stream. If you can, if you have the means, please support Dr. Turtleboy. All right. Thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you for allowing me to do this, except that one fucktwat who said, "Oh, you're stealing others' content." Fuck you. And I will redirect you somewhere interesting, but I will send you off with the free Turtleboy song. Everybody have a good one. And remember, folks, hug your family. Unless your family is shit, then fuck them and give your love to the people who deserve it. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Dr. Turtleboy walks the line, truth in his hands. Fingers point at shadows, he's breaking their plans. Corrupt suits in the courthouse playing their game. But the lies they sling won't tarnish his name. They try to bury him, but he won't go down. Fighting for justice in every crooked town. Dr. Turtleboy standing tall in the fight. Truth's his weapon shining through the night. Bogus charges flying, but they can't stick. He's cutting through the darkness, sharp and quick. The gavel pounds, but his voice won't break. No matter how much they take and fake, they try to bury him, but he won't go down. Fighting for justice in every crooked town. Dr. Turtleboy standing tall in the fight. Truth's his weapon shining through the night. To the edge, but he holds his ground. In the face of their lies, his courage resounds. For every false word, there's a light he ignites. A warrior for truth under courthouse lights. He's been bruised, but he won't lose the war. Kicking down the gates of corruption's door. Dr. Turtleboy still chasing the sun. The fight's far from over, but he's never done.